Well, good morning. Good morning. How we doing? Good, good, good. I got in trouble today on my way in. Apparently, it's not fashionable to wear white socks with black pants. So I rolled them up another level, showed them off a little bit. It's good to be back. Just been out the past few weeks on vacation, but I don't know how well you do vacation. It's nice, but I'm like ready for some regular rhythms as the fall is approaching. So we've been having this series on prayer, and I've been following along online. So I especially want to say hello to those watching online today. That was me the last few weeks. It was 2007. I was finishing up my undergrad. I went to a Bible college, a 4-year Bible and ministry degree. And I don't know if you've ever been to Bible college. Maybe there's one or two suckers out there. But when you're in Bible college, you've got church on Sunday, required. Chapel on Tuesday, also required. Small groups Wednesday night, required. Chapel Thursday morning, required. And then an optional student-led worship service on Friday night. It's a lot of church. And so you can imagine after 4 years, you're just happy to be done with so much. I mean, I love church, okay? But there's a limit, there's a point. And I remember hitting to the end and just feeling like, man, I've put so much time into this. I'm ready to go, right? This is like 21-year-old me, and I just so desperately want to be a part of something God is doing. I felt like I was coming out of my season of preparation, and I was ready to do something real, something tangible, something that some might even call divine. It was one of these last chapels in my last semester, and it was a pretty basic chapel. Most of us didn't want to be there. There was a guest speaker who was just okay, you know, and chapel ended, and everyone is starting to scurry off to class, and my friend stood up at the front of the chapel and just said, hey, I feel like some people might want to pray, so I'm going to stick around and pray. If anyone wants to join me, you can join me. It was interesting what happened over the next 10 or 15 minutes. Nobody left, and people stayed, and people stayed longer and longer, and they ended up actually canceling classes that day because people stayed in the room and prayed. I was on the music team at that chapel that day, and so I ended up getting up and just playing guitar for hours while people sat and prayed and classes were canceled. And it was something, I don't know, tangible. It was like the presence of God was felt in the room. Have you ever been in one of those moments? The presence of God was felt in the room, and nobody wanted to leave. There was a certain kind of safety to it. It was like there was this sense that God is here, and so people felt so safe. They began to confess things in their life. They began to share burdens with one another and work through some of the deepest, hardest parts of their past or their current situation. There was a safety in the presence of God. We've been talking about prayer for a lot of weeks, and prayer is something that I think we can experience a little bit, but then there's also this tradition of prayer that's been passed down through generations. Actually, prayer goes all the way back. People have been trying to communicate and commune with God since the beginning of time. And one of the things that prayer has passed down to us is there's this whole group of people in the church called contemplatives. It goes back to like some spiritual father and mothers that would leave urban contexts and live in the deserts or live in solitude, and they would dedicate their entire life to prayer. And then they would take the things they're learning and help communicate and help the rest of us who can't give our whole lives to prayer navigate life in our time in prayer. And one of the things that came up over and over and over again was that the destination of prayer, if there's a destination of prayer, or the sweet spot of prayer, is this place where you can experience God's presence on the daily. These contemplatives, these people so devoted to their faith and devoted to their prayer, the messaging that keeps coming over again and again and again to the rest of us is if there's a pursuit in prayer, it's the presence of God. It's the presence of the divine with you in all things. One of those contemplatives is a Catholic priest, Mark E. Thibodeau. He wrote this book called Armchair Mystic, and I share this. It's one of my actually favorite books on prayer. And there's one chapter in this book where he talks about what he calls 4 stages of prayer. He's trying to help the rest of us kind of move through these steps of prayer. He said, for many of us, prayer starts out talking at God. And he says, it's it's some of these like prayers that maybe you just are passed on to you. It's like saying grace, right? Or maybe there's a prayer you prayed as a kid, or you're teaching your children, like, as I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord. Anyone know this prayer? Pray the Lord my soul to keep. Okay, these prayers that just get passed down. And for all of us, this is kind of how we start in prayer. These words given to us by somebody else. I think this is true in relationships too, right? When we start building a relationship with somebody. Is there anybody out here that I haven't met before? Like you've never ever talked to me before? I promise I won't make you come on stage. Okay. If I was to come up to you, I'd be like, how you doing? You would say, good. It doesn't matter if you're actually good, right? We've all learned to go through these phases, right? We start out with these talking at people, rehearsing these scripts that have been passed on to us from culture. But eventually in prayer, we begin to move into a place where we talk to God. We begin to let God know maybe some of the things that we want in life. I think this is also true in relationships. I mean, we've been spending a lot of time with our children in the summer, and I don't know, like other parents out there, what you feel like you signed up for with summer break. But summer break has a time when it's over, and that's the time when your kids stop talking to you nonstop, right? When they stop telling you everything they need all the time. Well, as we found out this week, they moved the line on us, right? We had to deal with our kids just a little bit longer, but we get in these stages where our kids learn they can come and talk to us and just tell us everything they want all the time. Recently, it's been really cool. My son, as he gets a little bit older, there's these moments at night where I'll lay with him next to him on his bed, and we'll talk and we'll pray, and I'll ask him about his day. But just recently, he's starting to turn to me in the midst of these conversations and say, well, Dad, how was your day? Right? There's this progression in a relationship where you move past talking to the person and you actually want to begin to start hearing the person. Some of you with adult children or maybe children in the older years are just kind of like waiting for this day, right? You so desperately want your kids to hear what you have to say, but you know they need to be listening before that's even possible. I see some nudges in the crowd here today. I think this is true in our prayer life as well. That we can learn to pray and talk to God, let Him know the things that we want in life. But often we have to move through that stage to a point where we can begin to open up our heart to hear from God. That this God, this divine being, the creator of everything we see and everything beyond what we can see, begins to talk to us, can begin to speak into our lives, that we actually can learn to hear the voice of God. And there's something about this stage of every relationship, that it's in actually hearing one another, that you can move towards intimacy, that you can move towards safety. And I think this is what the mystics are after, is that as we move through these stages of prayer, there's a point where we can move to this place where you can just be with God. Do you have a person in your life like that? Like you don't need to say words. Just being with them makes everything better. That if you're going, maybe with them, like there might be this experience that you normally would like, I'm not interested in this, but if they're there, I enjoy it. Like that you can reach this point in relationships where just the presence of the other provides this sense of safety. And I think the same is true as we move and we progress and we move through stages in our lives of prayer. In my early 20s, I spent a lot of time in prison, mostly speaking at chapels. But there was these prisons that I would go back to and visit over and over and over again. One of them was actually a juvenile center, and there was a student there named Dobson that I was building a relationship with. Dobson, the stuff that he's been through in life, he was like unable to feel. Like I would talk to him about the presence of God, and he would hear me share stories from my own life, and he would come up to me after the message and be like, that's cool, man, but I don't feel anything ever. And I would keep, every time I go back, Dobson and I have these same conversations. And I would just invite him just to try, just to pray in his cell at certain times, or to open up his heart even just a little bit. It was one afternoon that Dobson, because of he hit all his behavior markers, and he got to go out on a leave, on a field trip, and he wanted to come see me, and they allowed it. And so he came and he met with me, and as soon as he saw me, we were outside in this parking lot. I came out to meet him, and he like hustled across the parking lot. He said, "You wouldn't believe what happened." I said, "What?" He said, "This week I was in my cell, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and I felt something." I'm like, "What do you mean you felt something?" He's like, "I felt something." And he was like mad at me. He's like, "I felt something." I was like, "What did you feel?" He's like, "I don't know. I felt something, and then there was a Bible in my drawer, and I began to read it." I think "You began to read it? Really?" He's like, "Yeah." And I kept feeling it and feeling it and feeling it. And he said, "I began to cry." I said, "You began to cry?" He said, "Corey, I never cry." And he began to talk to me about the first time in his life feeling the presence of God, feeling like God was in his cell with him in that moment. I mean, I had prayed with Dobson about so many things in his life, but nothing convinced him, nothing was as special as experiencing that intimacy with God. And so I think prayer, we move through these stages, and God continues, like in any other relationship, invite us to take steps towards intimacy and safety on the journey. I think these become important as you, maybe some of you that have been journeying with Jesus for a long time. I think these stages become important because sometimes we have to go back to them. I don't know if any of you have ever been in a fight with your partner or your spouse or maybe even a really close friend or a parent. I don't mean just like a little squabble. I mean like a real fight. I've had a few of these, right? But eventually you have to kind of like move back towards intimacy, right? A fight where like the intimacy feels like it gets completely sucked out of the relationship. My wife and I have had a few of these, and usually the conversation starts out again by talking at each other. It usually starts with like a text message that just says something, or like a meme that says something ridiculous. I feel like it's kind of interesting. This is how we get back into conversations. A simple text like, "I love you," starts the conversation again. But then at some point in the conversation, you have to start talking to each other about the issues that led to that fight in the first place, right? And so you start talking to each other. But those of you who've been in relationships for any length of time, you know at some point you have to start hearing each other too. And then once we begin to hear each other, actually hear what the other person is saying and intending and meaning, we can begin to move back towards intimacy. But the challenge of this sometimes in our prayer life is that some of us don't know how to exist in any of these stages. If there's a stage missing, if there's a place in our prayer that we've never been to before, it can be hard when life gets difficult. It can be challenging when situations arise. For some of us, we have this view of God that God is mean. And so to talk at God, there's always this little fear of like retribution, like what if I say it wrong? What if I pray in the wrong way? What if I say something that offends God? Is God going to have some kind of punishment for me? Honestly, the truth is that God is not mean and invites us to come at him with everything that we are. Some of us have a hard time talking to God because somewhere in our psyche was this God who doesn't care about us. Really, really care about us. And so there's this fear of rejection. What if I'm too honest? What if I say something that I want, that I really, really want? Spice Girls. And God rejects me. And God pushes me away. Some of us have a hard time hearing from God because we have a hard time believing that God knows me. Something I have to remind myself often is that God knows me better than I know me. And so there's this fear of change. What if God invites me or asks me to do something I don't want to do? It's this sense of fear that God is not safe. And I think some of us struggle to be with God because we're afraid of intimacy. We're afraid of being seen. We're afraid of being known. And I think the invitation of God, that if you're afraid of intimacy in all of your life, the presence of God might be a place that you could start. a place where you begin to invite God's presence. I mean, this has been the story. If you open up your Bible, when God's people are wandering through the wilderness, they carried a box with them everywhere they went, reminding them that God's presence was with them. When God's people were turning their backs and rejecting God, literally building other idols to worship instead of the God who rescued them from slavery. And Moses is up on a mountain. You know what Moses begged God for? Not to remove his presence. And the people there that day report that as Moses came down the mountain, he was glowing with God's presence. Moses, before leading people across the Jordan into the promised land, the promise to them as they were so petrified to enter this new season of life, the promise from Moses is, listen, he'll never leave you. God will never leave you. God will never forsake you. You can go into the future knowing that. I want to read today a famous psalm. King David in Psalm 139. David has quite a story. He opens up the psalm this way. It's his prayer. God, investigate my life. Get all the facts firsthand. I'm an open book to you. Even from a distance, you know what I'm thinking. You know when I leave and when I get back. I'm never out of your sight. You know everything I'm going to say before I start the first sentence. I look behind me and you're there. I look up ahead and you're there too. Your reassuring presence coming and going. This is too much, too wonderful. I can't take it all in. When Jesus is about to leave his disciples, his promise to them is that I will always be with you. And the New Testament church, James, the brother of Jesus, is writing these letters to all these churches all over the place. And he starts to talk about some of the really terrible things happening in the churches. James chapter 4, he's talking about all the unhealthy stuff. All the stuff they've got to root out and take care of if they're going to be the people of God in the future. It's a really hard chapter. But right in the middle of it, James says this: draw near to God, and God will draw near to you. In the midst of the most difficult things, draw near to God, and God will draw near to you. On our vacation, we spent some time at the beach. Actually, just one day, because it rained most of our vacation. And I'm sitting there on the beach, and I'm thinking, why does everyone like this so much? You're sitting in dirt, and we're getting this sand in every crevasse of our body. And I'm pretty sure we've upgraded on this. It's called a pool, right? Where you can swim and not get sand all in your body. But I'm looking around and everybody is just loving the beach. I don't understand it. But I think what's incredible about the ocean, we're standing on the Atlantic Ocean. And you begin to walk out into the ocean. And what is so surreal about walking into the ocean is the deeper you walk in, the more it comes to you. And I think sometimes passages like draw near to God and God will draw near to you can feel like a if this, then that kind of situation. If you behave, if you do the right things, if you check the right boxes, then God will approve you and draw near. But I actually think it's more like walking into the ocean. The ocean is there, and as we become awake to it, we can draw into the ocean. With every step into the ocean comes back towards us. As we walk towards God, as we take steps in our prayer life, every one of these steps we become enlightened, awakened to the God that is also coming towards and pursuing us. If there's a goal in prayer, it's that you would be increasingly aware of God's presence in you, and through you, and around you. And so in the toughest parts of your life, if you're trying to figure out how to pray for God's presence. As kids are going back to school and as teachers are going back to school and you're trying to figure out how do I pray for the kids and the teachers as they go back to school, pray for God's presence. For that relationship in your life that is like seriously broken. You can't figure out. There's no step A to step B to step C to figuring out, how do I even pray about that? It's so complicated. I want to invite you maybe just to pray for God's presence. God, would you be present in this relationship? Would you guide us back into friendship or relationship or communion once again? For the most confusing things in our world, when you don't know what the words might be, I want to invite you to pray for God's presence, inviting God's presence into these moments. And I think when that happens, that God can lead us and guide us and show us ways that are beyond our understanding and beyond our expectation. God is for you. God is with you. And prayer is a pathway to grow in full realization of that. Let's sing together some more this morning.
Oh, sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before, no. I just want to tell you right now that I believe, I really do believe that something's got a hold on me, yeah.
I must be love.
Oh, something's got a hold on me right now, child.
Oh, it must be love.
Let me tell you now, I've got a feeling, I feel so strange. Everything about me seems to have changed. Step by step, I got a brand new walk. I even sound sweeter when I talk. I said, oh, 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 hey, hey, yeah, oh, it must be love.
Must be love.
Let me tell you now, something's got a hold on me, yeah.
Must be love.
Oh, something's got a hold on me right now, child.
Oh, it must be love.
Let me tell you now, I've never felt like this before. Something's got a hold on me that won't let go. I would die if I only could. I feel so strange, but it sure is good. I said, oh,
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 oh, oh, hey, hey, yeah, oh, it must be love.
no, it must be love.
Let me tell you now, my heart feels happy,
Wow.
my feet feel light,
Wow.
everything's over,
Wow.
I feel alright.
Wow.
I've never felt like this before.
Wow.
Something's got a hold on me that won't let go. I never thought it could happen to me. You got me happy when I'm in misery. I never thought it could be this way. The love's sure gone and put a hurting on